Namaskar and Jai Hind. Welcome to another episode of The Brand Called You, a video and a podcast show that brings you knowledge, experience, and wisdom from hundreds of successful individuals from around the world. We're now in season 5 of our show, and we have over 1,900 recordings for you, which you can see at www.tvcy.in. Today, it's my privilege to welcome Mr. Samir Modi. Samir, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me here, Shish. It's a great honor for me to be here.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Modi is the founder president of 24/7, Modicare, Colorbar, and Modicare Foundation. He is an intuitive entrepreneur, constantly striving to bring new and radical ideas to life. He is also executive director of Godfrey Phillips and Indofil Industries. Mr. Samir Modi is a maverick, someone who has known him for some time. I'll completely endorse this viewpoint that he's an absolute maverick who thinks differently to achieve groundbreaking results. A Harvard alumnus, makeup junkie, innovator, gadget buff, art connoisseur, chef, thought guru, globetrotter, brand builder, and a promoter of concept of miracle. He launched 24/7, the convenience store, India's first of its kind, the round-the-clock convenience retail chain in 2005. In 1996, he started Modicare, India's first direct selling company. Modicare today has over 5 million strong consultants network across India, a company which has grown stupendously year on year for past many years. In 2004, he launched Colorbar Cosmetics, brand which today is the third largest brand in the country. Recently, they were honored for breaking 2 Guinness Book of World Records. Mr. Modi is also the executive director of Godfrey Phillips, KK Modi's flagship company. Mr. Modi has served on many forums, many institutions, many business establishments as a leader, particularly on the business side, both in India and globally. The list of his accomplishments are long. I can just go on and on. It will take me a couple of hours to narrate, put the whole thing together, but I'm going to pause here and I will open the discussion and the dialogue with Mr. Modi. Samir, thank you and welcome to TVCY.
Thank you for this wonderful introduction. I don't know whether I do justice to all of them, but thank you very much.
Appreciate that, sir. Pleasure. Samir, someone particularly people who have of my generation, my times, who grew up in Delhi and who had the pleasure of seeing what the Modi name meant. I've had the pleasure because the times when we were growing up, there were few names up there, and one of them was the Modi name. I have to ask you this before we even get started and deep dive. How do you live with this larger than life, the daily, with this name, which is larger than life? And today, of course, we have a prime minister by the name of Modi who's taken this name global.
Well, growing up in the Modi family has been unique because living in a joint system, living in the same house, 200 people living together, and that was your life. Your friends were those people, your family were those people, your thought were those people. And then moving from that to individual families with your own father, mother, brother, sister changed. But growing up was tough because you knew that they're big shoes. And those big shoes are going to be tough to fill.
Right.
It opened many doors, but it closed as many doors as it opened, because there was already a presumption of who you are and what you should be. Right. In fact, the first day when I came from training from Philip Morris, my father said, you learned how to be a manager, but you need to learn to be an entrepreneur, but you should be like your brother who was in the business 7 years ago. So basically, he said, I don't care. You need to catch up. So large families are great, give you the knowledge, gives you recognition, but also expects you to learn and be who you are at a split second. So it's tough. It's tough. But it's great to have friends, get to have family members who used to stand by you and you can call every second and any second and they'll take your call.
Superb. Mr. Gujral Modi, the the iconic Mr. Modi, who actually started it all. Any memories? Have you as a child ever did you spend any time with him? Do you have any memories?
He passed away when I was 9 years old.
Okay.
And of course, I saw the entire procession of kilometers of people come to pay his respects. I spent time with him, although I was very young. I spent time with him and my grandmother. That time we were kids, and we played in his room. We did hide and seek. And over the years, I also learned his philosophy and why did he do what he did. So some was inferred, some was learned, some was experienced, and he set up a rule saying that is the patriarch of the family, and he is his law. So when he says jump, you jump, and he is doing whatever he's doing for a greater cause, and you need to do the same. And so some of the principles of saying that bring the best or be the best, some of the principles of righteousness, some of the principles of hearing people. I would see him walk every evening with his bodyguard on the length and breadth of Modi Nagar. And so I remember asking my father, why does he do that? So his thing was, well, it is an open court where he hears people's complaints and problems, and he solves them, and does that in the morning, does that at night. And he was also a very disciplined man. So a lot of stories of my father. My father revered him. So I've heard all things that I didn't even know about him. So he is, if I call larger than life in my life or a role model, it's him.
Awesome. Samir, I also know you make a reference to your father in this conversation. I remember how fondly you used to talk about the time you spent with him and how you were by his side when he breathed, in his last days, in the last moments, and you miss him, and I know that, and you mentioned that on a few occasions when we have spoken, that how much you miss him, and what was it like working? Because he was I've had the pleasure of meeting Mr. K.K. Modi with you, and what a clean clarity of thought. I remember he spoke about the book he was writing, and what clarity of thought, and what a great storyteller. So how do you miss him, and how has he impacted and touched your life?
He was a tough boss, and I would say a tougher father, because in joint families, most of your conversation was business. It wasn't just saying let's go spend family time. Family time was office, because that generation only knew how to work. And so one thing I learned from him was that training is important. Right after school, I went to work with Philip Morris as a trainee for 2 years, and saying that you need to learn how to be a manager, otherwise you can't be a manager. A lot of his stories, some I agreed with, some I disagreed with, and I learned the hard way that it is okay to say no and still do it. I remember a time that I landed in Washington, and I got a call from him. He said, "Where are you?" I said, "In Washington." He said, "I need you back." So my wife and me turned a car and came back. So he was tough from that point of view. Great storyteller. A lot of the stories of my grandfather I learned from him. Some are valid today, some are not valid today in their life. And I do miss him. Some of the lessons that I did not understand when he was alive, I've understood now. Some of the successes I had now, I wish I had them 4 years ago when he was alive. Some of the stories he said have now become my stories. Some of the examples that he gave have become my examples. And he was a man that led by example. And so I miss him from that point of view. And I miss him as my boss. I miss him that I wish I could show him what I've done. And I miss him to, even if he would not listen or give me advice, but he would hear what I had to say.
Right.
So,
Right.
and his concept that he's there to put holes in my strategy was a lesson that I didn't agree to it when he was there. And I see myself doing the same thing today. So I think that has been a great learning. I wish I could have thanked him. Didn't thank him enough while he was in my life.
What a wonderful thing to say. So family was very established businesses. You went on to create a certain niche for yourself. You started Colorbar. You did Modicare 24/7. Why? What drove you to, of course, diversity is one part of it, but then you were obviously, what was driving you? What was motivating you to do this? And what led you to do? And today they're all iconic.
Well, I go back to college. I spent my entire college 3 years working in the tobacco business. Actually, in the factory in Ghaziabad, right after school from 1:30 to 9 o'clock. After I got in college, married, I still worked for the tobacco business. I went abroad for the tobacco business. When I came back, I expected to work in the tobacco business. So I was at a great loss of words when my father said, "You can't." And I said, "Why?" He said, "Because you will not get authority when you're under me, because I'm the boss." And it was a test because I was given all the sick companies that were under him to fix. So that was one thing that, oh, I have to prove myself. Second was that I don't have a choice but to prove myself. Third, the shoes given to me have to be filled. If they are not filled, I will not fit in because your mark is business. And four, I wanted to make a difference. I wanted to make a difference in what I believed in my ideas, in my thoughts, in the way I led life, and mixed with the mixture of my gurus, my grandfather, my father, Steve Jobs, Richard Branson. I consider them my four gurus, whose teachings, even if I have not known them, I have imbibed.
Wow. Brilliant. So, tell me, I can relate to Modicare part, you being part of it. I can relate to, how did Colorbar, which is completely off, your family was not into anything with cosmetics. It's something, and how did that happen? And why?
So Modicare came about me running a cleaning product business, which had tied up with Johnson Wax or SC Johnson, sorry. And that was a sick company. So I was given a task to turn it around. And I turned it around. But one day my father was in New York and he said, "I need you to fly to New York." So I said, "Why?" So he said to me that he met somebody who works for McKinsey and they are very successful and they are making a lot of money and they have freedom and you need to study it. So when I studied network marketing, I learned and thought that it will change India. And the biggest guys were Amway. So I went to Amway. And they said to me, "Sorry, we don't tie up with anybody and we will come on our own." Of course, that being the case, I had to start my own business, which was called Modicare. And the reason I'm sharing this because it has a reason to Colorbar. And then I wanted to be Amway. And my father wanted me to be Amway. And so I hired the CEO of Amway Japan and said, "Teach us to become Amway." Of course, he was an expensive resource and did not add that much value to what I was. But nevertheless, my father said to me that he wanted to professionalize the business and let the Amway CEO, ex-CEO of Amway, run the business, and you look at something else. And while last year in Modicare, my product cosmetic head was a gentleman from Clinique, from French American, and I had to fire him because he messed up the business. So I had to learn without a choice into cosmetics. And when my father said, "You find something else, this business will report to him," I thought to myself, what business should I come in? So I said, cosmetics, large array, extreme innovations, top business, no Indian company, only multinationals, and I don't know the business, but I love cosmetics. So that was the reason that brought me into makeup, because it's tough. And my grandfather believed that it's okay to be competition within the families and outside. And my uncle had Revlon, because we at that time launched Estee Lauder and opened Budapest and Russia for them. That, hey, I've got an uncle who's in cosmetics. I love cosmetics. Let me try to beat him and become better than him. So that was the start of Colorbar.
Interesting, very interesting. So, a little taking you away from this, the business which you've run, but your family, everybody is very well known. You have a brother who's known, of course, in India, everybody knows him, and he's also known world over. He started IPL. Today, a brand which I am told, as per the reports, is valued upwards of $10 billion. Now, of course, with that whole name, with that whole association, unfortunately, that whole relationship has ended up in a way which is there are a lot of brickbats which come along with it. Now, you being in the middle of it, how do you deal with this? How do you deal with this bad press, the constant being in this focus and the light, and being compared to Lalit, and under all those, what comes along with a larger than life? Again, this is typical Modi style,
Well, I'll try to answer them in a few phases. I've always been compared to Lalit from the day one of working.
Right.
Quite used to my father saying, be Lalit or be nobody. So that was my first lesson, that he was my role model. Second was, as he created IPL, that was second time. First time it failed when we tried to create it, but second time when he created it, and the way it went up, like you say, everyone know Lalit Modi, the man with glasses who has a matching tie and pocket square, the gentleman called Lalit Modi. It's this thing of great pride that I have a brother who is brilliant and a maverick. But like they say, everything comes with a price. What has happened to him, some is quite unfair, some may be fair. I'm no one to judge. But yes, it is at times a problem. Cost of business goes up because you let Modi's brother. Banks don't want to support you internationally because you're Lalit Modi's brother. But if you have a brother who else a maverick who you love, and it doesn't matter what he does and doesn't do, you take it the pinch of salt and saying, this is what it is. And it's a support that I believe that you do for friends and family, irrespective of what they do. You don't love them for their deeds, you love them for who they are inside. So, that's my way of dealing.
What beautifully said, very well said, Samir. Thank you very much for this. There's some serious words of wisdom there. You take family is family, friends. You just, for who they are, you stand by them. Wonderful. Colorbar today is among the leading cosmetic companies in the country. You see the brand wherever you go, airports, the malls, everywhere. What does this success mean to you?
Well, I would say success in many points. One, that I was always compared to my uncle, Mr. UK Modi, who ran Revlon, that you're not as big. So first benchmark was, I need to beat Revlon. So that was the first matter of success. Second was that I was making products in India. And my own daughter and wife said, we're not going to use these products. They're not good enough. We are used to using Bobby Brown, Mac, Urban Decay. I mean, you can talk all the top brands in the world, but we're not going to touch Colorbar.
Right.
The second was that how do I get Colorbar in their bag? Because most women use multiple brands. And from zero, I said, how do I get to 10, 15, 20, 25? And I said, the only way I could, if I had product as good as the big brands out there.
Right.
But discovered who made for them and befriended the owners to make for me. And slowly, a lot of my product is the same, and a lot of my product nobody has. A lot of my product, the big brands will have 2 years later that I have today. Got me to my children to use and my friends to use. And suddenly people are saying, oh, I'll use your nail polish. Oh, I'm using a lip gloss. Oh, I'm using your lipstick. And today I'm not 100% in their bag, cosmetic bag. I'm 70 from zero. The day I get to 100, I would say I have achieved something. But it feels good that we are the third largest brand and we are surviving amongst deep pockets of competition. I mean, I'm a poor man because my grandfather and father taught me that it is not the top line, it is the bottom line. And today the scenario in the market is it is not the top line, it's not the bottom line, it's the top line. In fact, somebody came to me the other day and said, why don't you buy me? So I said, why are people not investing? This is because we're making money. And they said to them, you're not a good enough company for us to invest because you are making money. If you were negative, we would have invested. So the success is surviving. Success is surviving amongst thousands and thousands of crores being put in brands against me, staying afloat among the multinational big boys, and also being recognized by the global manufacturers of makeup who make for all the luxury brands in the world to be good, to go to stalls of theirs in Cosmoprof in Bologna and see Colorbar next to Bobby Brown, next to Estee Lauder, next to NARS. So I think it's a matter of great pride. We also have, for the last 3 years, have become in the top 25 best companies to work, and in the top 25 across Asia for the best companies to work. And we are way ahead of any other cosmetic company in the ranking of great place to work. So that's a sense of pride that women are happy. That's another thing. We are able to give equal pay. So many platforms of Colorbar. And the biggest platform of Colorbar is really we believe in women empowerment. So last year I came up with most innovative scheme in the world where a beauty advisor who was earning 20,000 rupees a month can earn 2 lakh rupees a month plus have an EMI for a car and a house.
Wow.
So
that should be very unique.
Yeah, it is. It's costly. It's costly and more costly than the earlier. But I believe that women should have the freedom to say no. They should have the freedom to say what they want, get equal play, don't be forced into marriage, and they are as good, if not better, than men. And that's what I'm achieving slowly. And I mean, I met somebody the other day and I said, are you earning more money? She has seen my iPhone and she was earning 20,000 rupees 4 months ago.
Right.
So I said, why iPhone? She said, I've dreamt of iPhone. Now I bought one. My family was against it, but I feel so good. So it's a life-changing experience for me. So things of this is, I think, achievement. I think I have a lot further to go, bigger ambitions. So I'm a very tiny speck in the world of makeup, and the opportunity is far larger in multiple of thousands and thousands. So I'm still feel that I'm still taking baby and I'm still taking baby steps.
Right. So, you know, Samir, I remember once attending one of the Modicare events many years back. And an event which I think I've never attended an event of that kind ever before. And I then and post that, I've not seen any event. the energy in that room, the way you went on and what you do and how you go about doing it. Where does it come from? It's a very unique Modi. Anybody who knows you knows, that's a very Samir Modi touch and the class which is put up there. How did that come about, and what is it? Tell us some story about Modicare. Something which there were so many people who just are completely rallying for you there.
Ashish, when I started Modicare, I couldn't speak Hindi. I had to write the English to Hindi speeches and stand behind the podium. So when I left Modicare and came back to Modicare by default, I don't know, something changed. I was doing a meeting ex tempo, doing in Hindi, not English. And then I made a comment, Soch badlo, khud ko badlo, dunya badlo. My team came to me and said, Mr. Modi, you made this comment, you need to follow it. And that was the motivation, saying, I'm not talking of the business plan or the commissions. I'm just talking about changing people's life. I think go to my manager if you want to learn the business. But you want to bring Samir Modi, which is my endeavor and my wish, then you need to come to me. So in my events, I don't talk about business. I talk about living. I talk about changing their life. I talk about khud ko badlo, dunya badlo. I talk about walking in the park, smelling the rains, singing in the bathroom, or just singing and doing what you want to do. And people's lives are changing from that aspect. I have learned how to sing. I all my life wanted to sing and never could sing. Now, even though I croak at most times, I still get a clap and I get a standing ovation, and people love that. And I have to say, hey, if I can get that adulation, so can you. And that's been the big drive on Modicare, is changing India. I believe in Hindustan. I believe in the golden peacock. I believe India can be what it was in the olden days. And for that, every human being has to come from the mandirs, praying for life to change to themselves, but they can change the lives. So that's where Modicare, and that's the driver of Modicare. For us, we have a song called Song Number 19, which I totally believe in. This is Hame Tumse Pyar Kitna, Ye Tum Nahi Jante. And that the Soch is, and the support of my employees is drive me every day to come to work.
You made a reference to you believe in India, the story of India. What is it what is it you're referring to? Can you just elaborate a bit on that?
Well, our Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi, says made in India. I am not a believer of that. Mm-hmm. I have a slightly different twist, which is made by Indians. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter where it is made. Super. As long as it is made by Indian, who is putting the India flag high, is good enough. Super. I have a company called Modicare, which is, I have a single product company, a product called Azadi. I have a product called Colorbar, which believes in empowering women. I have a product called 24/7, which believes in changing lives and how people interact in communities where stores are. So my belief is doing something different. My belief is Soch badlo. And I'll tell you a very interesting thought. At one point in time, I was fighting with my father for a separation. Mm-hmm. And when this whole thing of Soch badlo came about, I looked at myself, what is different? And I don't have the right to say this. So actually then went to my father and I said to him that I will not ask for separation till the time you're alive. And here I will give you something to prove that. And my father scoffed it. He told my mother, ye hone nahi wala hai. Next morning I went to his cabin. I gave him a blank piece of paper signed. And I said, Dad, whatever you fill in this and whenever you fill in this, is I will accept. So that's the day I gave up control on money and power. And that is again the learning of Soch Badlo. I can't sleep at night if I wrong somebody. I have to make an apology no matter what. So Modi can change me. You know, I do programs and you attended one. I don't know how to speak in Hindi. But I still speak extempo to 4 hours in Hindi. I don't know where the words come from. It's like almost a antenna from the higher power to do this service.
Mm-hmm.
And every seminar is different. I do about 40 seminars a year from 2,000 people to 50,000 people. I don't know. I guess it is my purpose to bring happiness. It's my purpose to create Hindustan to be a better place. I guess one of my purposes is to give azadi or give people the option to be azad.
Right. Superb. Sorry, I want to, there is a part of you which, not very many people will know about it, that you were a competitive boxer in your early days of your life in the school when you were studying at Doon. Now, tell us there are many stories of boxers which has changed the world in many ways. What was your learning from what was boxing teaching you? And why did you choose boxing as a sport?
I don't know why I chose boxing. I think everyone had to do boxing in school. I started boxing at age 5.
Mm-hmm.
I gave up boxing at age 22. I was undefeated, never lost a bout. Few things I learned. That when you are confined in a 16 by 16 space, it's you and you alone. So whatever you do, you're responsible. Muhammad Ali was a great inspiration for me. Fly like the butterfly, sting like a bee. So it taught me that in confinement, you can be yourself, and as long as what you believe in can be achieved. Eye of the Tiger. I listened to the song every time I went in, and I knew I won't lose. It taught me your actions, your inactions will give you the result. When you fall down, get up again.
Right.
And you are the master of your own destiny. It taught me how to be fit. It taught me the power that a punch can have. It taught me what opponent, no matter what the size is, means. And don't be afraid of your opponent. Just be sure of who you are. And taught me, when life gives you lemons, people say you make lemonade. I believe not making lemonade. I said, when life gives you lemons, make margaritas. So that was the reason I learned from boxing.
So, I'm forgetting who was the famous boxer who said that in boxing, you don't lose when you fall. You lose when you fail to get up.
Very true.
So I think it's such a one important thing. We're not running out of time, so I think, but I need to ask you this. Samir, have you experienced failure? And if yes, what were your learnings from it?
I fail every day.
No, not in that generic terms, but
I know. I fail every day. One of the lessons I've learned, I give up Modicare. Modern home care was sold. My father not recognizing me enough for the failure. What I learned again with boxing, like you said, when you fall down, you get up again. When you get dirty, you wipe your gloves and get back again. And failure just teaches you, and has taught me a few things in my life. My father used to say that all your life, you're going to be a learner, student. The day you become a teacher, that's the day you fail, you stop learning. And failure has really taught me, it doesn't matter who you are. When you fail, there will be pain. There will be disappointment. They will be pointing of fingers. There will be many things that will come your way. When you fail, if you get up and you start believing, and what you failed, you start correcting, you know that there will be failures in the future as well, but not the things you failed earlier. So it's a great learning. One of the things I learned that you are not a drop in an ocean. You're an ocean in a drop. And that has been my biggest learning, has been that. And you are like water, which can shift in whatever vessel you put in. So failure is again that. Get up. Don't worry of what you are. Be what you want to be, and you'll fit. So that's the big thing about failure. And it's caused me pain. I mean, I can't say it hasn't broken my heart. I can't say that I have not got depressed. I can't say that I've doubted myself. It can't say that it still doesn't affect me. I can't say that I've gotten over it and I say, oh, I failed. Yes, I failed. I recognize that. And every time I take a step, the whole thing is this step going to make me fail? And I like to tread my own path. And that failure has changed me. Failure has changed me just like boxing has changed me. When you fall down, get up, wipe your gloves, and get back in the ring again.
One last question before we wrap this up. What are the plans? How does the next few years look for you? So what is on the business front, on Samir Modi's front? What are the plans? What is it? What is the bug running, or what is the idea running in your head?
As far as 24/7 is concerned, I want to go global. I want to change the way people interact and buy and shop. Modicare, I want to not fail. I launched in London and I failed. When you talk about failure, but I have to get up and do it again. But Modicare, my goal is Ghar Ghar Azadi, Har Ghar Azadi, and that's what I want to do. My goal for next few years is that to maximize people's dreams to come true. As long as there's a person in front of a mandir, not for praying, to put money in the chanda, that is the person who should get azad. So that's the goal for next few years. For Modicare, Colorbar is to go global. We just entered Russia and 210 stores, launching September, which is the biggest chain. So that's a matter of great pride. And I thought I'll retire at the age of 50. I'm going to turn 54, and then doesn't seem to be any of that in the near horizon. But I want to make a difference. I want to make a difference as Samir Modi. I want a difference as a philosophy, a concept. I want to leave a mark of life without me, life with me, life and India with me. And I want to get into politics. So I want to stand for elections. One of my biggest dream, or not in dream, my endeavor right now, effort is to stand for elections.
With that, we're wishing you all the luck, Samir, and wishing you all the success. I know you are a dreamer, and when you put your mind to something, you go for it, and nothing can stop you on that. You are very obsessed with that idea and a thought, and we wish you luck and we wish you all the success. It's a pleasure talking to you. We could possibly spend next 2 hours doing this, and we will come back and talk to you again and catch up as to what's happening and how things are coming along. And you said at 50 you wanted to retire, and we are here at 54, and we're talking, and I'm very sure we will do this again very soon at 60 and 65 and so on and so forth. So all the very best, Mr. Modi. Wishing you all the luck and a great success and great years ahead. It was a pleasure talking to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shish, for having me here. It's been truly insightful with your questions. I think some of them nobody's ever asked me. So it's It's good. And what is the best part is I hope the listeners keep coming back to the brand called You and learn. And if they've taken something from this talk of ours, I will feel blessed. So thank you for having me here.
It's been a pleasure, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you for listening to the Brand Called You videocast and podcast, a platform that brings you knowledge, experience, and wisdom of hundreds of successful individuals from around the world. Do visit our website www.tbcy.in to watch and listen to the stories of many more individuals. You can also follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just search for the Brand Called You.